Hey guys, Dave Lee coming at you once again with another live stream here on a Sunday evening in Australia or a Sunday morning over in the wonderful land of America and probably many other places around the world. It's a different time of Sunday wherever you are, I'm sure. And at that, I would actually like you guys to fire away in the comments. Let me know where you are streaming from today. I always love to see where everybody is coming from, and I just think it's fascinating that we got people from all over the world. And as I said, I like to know where everyone's from. How are we all doing? I'm doing all right. Thanks for asking, everybody down there. This is like almost 3 months of lockdown now, so I'm in my beanie. I haven't had a haircut in about 3 months, so I'm a little bit disheveled at the moment. So I'm just making myself look a little bit better. I've got my Captain America beanie on today. I've got my Bugs Bunny jumper on, and I've got my Stay Classy Ron Burgundy t-shirt on in celebration of the wonderful Fred Willard, who unfortunately passed away overnight last night, which is very, very sad to hear. Very, very fantastic comedian, really great comedic force. And it's very, very sad to lose him. He's been in some of my favorite movies and shows and stuff. So we got a little bit of a eclectic mix going on here today, and I'm really looking forward to this. I haven't done one of these for a couple of weeks now, and I'm looking forward to getting into some of these questions. So as we all know, if you've been in one of these before, I'm just going to basically open up the chat to questions. I'll go through them. Unfortunately, the reality is there's so many people in these chats now, I can't get to all the questions like I used to. So I'm just going to try and make my way through here and answer as many questions as I can. I do ask, please don't spam the chat. We always get someone in here who's like spamming the chat with their question over and over and over again. Copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. I don't like that. Clogs the chat. Other people don't like that. It annoys people. So if you could refrain from doing that, that would be amazing. Also, look, if you do have a question you want answered and I don't answer it straight, like after 10 or 15 minutes, feel free to post it again, but just don't, constantly go at it in the chat, because it does annoy people. Also, what I would like to ask, I know you guys love the cartoon evolutions, and I love that you guys love it. I love how passionate you guys are about it all, but please also don't clog the chat up with requests for cartoon evolution. I've heard all your requests. I know what you guys want, and I've got my whole year planned out and next year planned out as well, essentially. So I love that you're so passionate with all your requests and stuff, but please don't clog the feed with all that, because, as I said, I know who you guys want, and I know who I'm going to do. And I think you guys are going to be very excited with who I've got lined up for the rest of the year and next year as well. So, without further ado, I tend to waffle on a lot, so I'm going to go into the chat now. We're going to ask some questions. I should also say, if you, again, the reality is so many people in here, so many questions. If you do have something that you'd like desperately want answered, you definitely want me to see it, send in a super chat, because the super chat is one way that I'm going to guarantee that I will see and answer your question, if it's a question within reason. As I always say, if you're going to jump in there and give me $1 to call me a dickhead, then that's you just being a little bit silly. Thank you for the money, whatever. But no, honestly, if you do have a serious question and you want to fire away down, you want me to see it, guarantee me to see it, answer it, super chat is the way to go. But otherwise, we're going to the chat right now. We've got some awesome people in here. I can see already. James on film. Hey Dave. Hey James. How you doing? We've got Ryan O'Toole is in here as well. Dave, hope all is well. Not a question, but looking forward to your thoughts on Scoob. A few people are in here. If you don't know Ryan O'Toole, he is an awesome guy. Fantastic YouTuber as well. Does a lot of reviews and stuff. New movies, old movies, does ranking, stuff like that. Please check him out. Give him a little bit of support. I'm sure he'll appreciate it. And I'll appreciate it too, because the guy, he's a really, really great guy. So Ryan O'Toole, head over to his channel and check him out. He does some really, really awesome stuff. My thoughts on Scoob. A lot of people have been asking me this. Unfortunately, they have not released it in Australia yet, which is very, very, very unfortunate and very sad. I would love to see Scoob. I'm dying to see Scoob, and I've seen everyone's thoughts on it, kind of mixed reactions and whatever it's getting at the moment. And I just can't wait to see it. But yeah, as of right now, it hasn't been launched in Australia, and there's been no like official word on when it is being released, which is a little bit annoying because I would have been able to put together some really great content for Scoob. You know, I really want to do like a Easter eggs thing. I'm seeing there's all these amazing Easter eggs and stuff. I hope I can see the movie as soon as possible. But yeah, haven't seen it just yet. Unfortunately, we will see it soon. Let's get some more questions in here. Good morning, Dave, says Molly Bowers. Good morning, Molly. Thank you very much for joining me. A long-time subscriber there. It's great to see long-time subscribers in here. It's great to see new subscribers in here. It's great to see faces in here that I haven't seen in the chat before, which is always fantastic. Always fantastic. Popcorn Chat asks, and he's another long-time subscriber here, since you only get to make one Evolution video a month, have you ever considered hiring a employee as an assistant? Do you think that would be a good investment? I consider all kinds of things. Right now, it's only, I guess, feasible for me to keep running as a one-person show. I am essentially doing this full-time, but the wage I'm earning on YouTube at the moment doesn't exactly... I can't exactly afford an assistant just yet. I'm living on a comfortable wage here on YouTube at the moment, but that is something that, you know, if we keep growing and stuff, I would consider... parceling work out to people, commissioning work to people. The evolutions are things that I'm very proud of, and I love writing. I love editing. Can be very stressful from time. They are very stressful most of the time, but I really enjoy doing them, and I love that at the end of it, I've been able to piece together this full thing. It's come from my head to my fingertips to the computer, and then from my mouth, and then, you know, I feel like I've got this 100% control over it. I'm not sure if that's something that I would parcel out to someone else, but in future I would consider maybe, parceling out some of the smaller bits and pieces. I would continue writing it and whatever, but yeah, that's something to think of way in the future, I think. But for now, it's a one-guy show, and I would love to get more than one Evolution out a month, but the thing is, just as Popcorn Chat pointed out, it just takes so long for me to do these things. I'm working on one at the moment where I'm really under the pump. I have to get this done. I load them the first Tuesday of every month. And the first Tuesday of this coming month is the 2nd. So I'm really under the pump to get this next Evolution done in 2 weeks. So let's just hope we get there. Thanks for a really good question there. Jack Robbins asks, hey Dave, what was your most memorable moment in Star Wars Clone Wars? My most memorable moment of Star Wars Clone Wars was I don't know, because I think I only got up to like season 2 and stopped watching. I heard that it gets like vastly better after like the first 2 or 3 seasons. So many people have told me this. 1,000,001 people have told me this, that it gets so good. Apparently the new season was amazing. It looks really good. I couldn't get past season 2. I've like stopped and started. I really need to pick it up because I feel jealous that I've missed out on some really, really, really good Star Wars. Jackson Coleman asks, is it worth getting Back to the Future in 4K? It's my favorite film, but I just don't know if I should pay the extra $50. I would probably never pay $50 for a single movie, no matter what it was, unless it came with like a bundle of special special stuff, like good packaging and whatever. I can't really say because we haven't seen the conversion just yet, but I will definitely be picking it up. If it's $50 for the trilogy, I think that's a pretty decent price. Universal have been doing some pretty good 4K transfers recently of the catalog titles and whatever, and I think they'll do a really good job with Back to the Future. The Blu-rays were fantastic, and I've got high hopes for the 4Ks. And I would say if it's your favourite film, slash out the little extra to just get it. And I certainly will be, because I love Back to the Future. They're but my favourite films ever as well. And they're just... I have to have them on every format that I can get them on. And yeah, I would say if it's your favourite movie, go for it. We got, let's have a look. What else have we got in here? Lots and lots of questions coming in, which is fantastic. David the Great says, do you think that you do a review of the new Looney Tunes shorts, such as Dynamite Dance? I would love to review the new Looney Tunes cartoons. Thing is, again, like Scoob, I'm not sure when they're going to be landing in Australia. I know that HBO Max is passing out some of its content to Foxtel, which is our cable distributor here in Australia. But I don't know how soon we're actually going to get the Looney Tunes cartoons. I don't know whether we'll like get them all at once. I don't know whether they're going to play like 1 or 2 a week. Or I don't know how it's going to work. But once they do start dropping here, I will be reviewing while doing content based around them and all that kind of stuff. Captain Obvious asks, favorite Hanna-Barbera series? I'm looking over here because we've got old mate Rick joining us today. He's what do you call it? Monitoring the chat and helping with the chat and stuff. So thanks to old mate Rick out there for doing this, and he's sending some stuff through over here. So Captain Obvious asks, what's my favorite Hanna-Barbera series? It has to be either the Flintstones or Scooby-Doo. Or the Jetsons. But I think, like, top for me is probably the Flintstones. Probably just takes it out just by a smidge. I loved the Flintstones as a kid. I absolutely loved the Flintstones. And love the Jetsons. I mean, it is like the space age Flintstones, really. And Scooby-Doo was one I watched a lot as well. I just love all the Hanna-Barbera stuff. I grew up watching Top Cat, Dastardly and Muttley, all of them. They were always on Boomerang or Cartoon Network or whatever, but like the top ones, yeah. Flintstones, Jetsons, all that. Daniel Haydenreich. Haydenrich, I apologize if I pronounced your name wrong, and I can guarantee I have. But Daniel Haydenreich asks, what is your favorite animated movie? It's a tough one because I kind of try and break it down into like ages and stuff because I just can't pick one. I feel like Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, Fantasia are kind of like top pinnacle for me when it comes to golden age. When we talk about like I guess the Renaissance era Disney stuff, Lion King, Beauty and the Beast, and they're probably pinnacle for me. 3D animated stuff, you got Toy Story, you got Shrek. It's hard for me to pick a favorite animated film, but they are amongst them right there. Pardon me. We have got, as I said, I asked people to send in where they're from. We've got people from Wales. I've never been to Wales. I was so close to going to Wales last year. Terrible rain and terrible weather twice, and I couldn't end up making the trip, unfortunately. We were going to go on like a one of those like shuttle tour things. Unfortunately, it just didn't happen. I've got someone in here from Saudi Arabia, which is fantastic. We got people here from Sydney, Australia, of course, just up there a little bit. Couple of hours away. We got Mewtubers on here. Says, g'day Dave, g'day Mewtube, how you doing? Thanks for joining me again. Tylosaurus Rex says it's a rainy morning in Minnesota. So we got some people in here from the wonderful United States of America. I've never been to Minnesota. I've been to quite a lot of the states. I've been to America 3 times and traveled quite a way around, but I've never actually been to Minnesota. I think I would love to go there. I'd love to go there. Pika Fan 204 Vlog says, I saw the Shaggy Evolution video. What's it like working on it? Thank you for the good question there. Voice evolution videos are actually quite, I don't know if I say fun to work on. They are a bit fun because I get to watch through cartoons and essentially the entire time that I'm making one of those voice evolutions, I'm like watching cartoons and just like clipping out little bits. And one of my favorite things with doing those is just picking audio samples that when played out of context are just so wildly insane. Like, I'm sure you notice I pick some really, really stupid bits of dialogue sometimes, and that is on purpose because I just have a lot of fun with it. I think it's so funny when you take these little bits of dialogue out of context. It's very funny. But they're fun to work on because usually that is the first thing that I'll work on straight after I've done a main evolution video. So like as you know, I spend 2 or 3 weeks on like a main evolution video, and sometimes I'll be doing other little bits and pieces in between it. But that evolution takes up like a good chunk of like 2 or 3 weeks for me. And the voice evolution is the next thing I work on because I get that out 2 days later, and it's actually a bit of a refresher because the evolution videos are such it's like high stress for me. I write it in a week and I edit it in, a week and a half, and it's just like pressure. I'm working from like 9 a.m. in the morning until 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night sometimes. And then when it gets to doing the voice evolutions, it's just an easy thing. I just sit there, I skim through episodes, drop it onto the timeline, make my graphics, all that. So it's actually really easy and freeing for me to be able to just slow down and do something that's really easy. So yeah, those voice evolution videos, it's a bit of fun to work on, and just a chance for me to take my breath before we jump into the next one. I feel like I only just finished the Betty Boop one a couple of weeks ago. I punched out 4 of these voice evolutions for Scooby-Doo, and then I'm straight on to evolution number 11 or 12 right now. I'm writing that at the moment. I haven't announced it yet, but I will announce it this week. Thank you for the question. It was fantastic. Pixar fan 2007. Rank these November films based on your excitement. Black Widow, Soul, Godzilla, King Kong, and No Time to Die. I usually don't do ranking videos on these because I usually don't do rankings on these because I like to reserve my rankings for actual videos. But something like this, I can rank on here for sure. So coming in at how many we got there? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so coming in at number 4, Godzilla vs King Kong. Only because I'm not a huge fan of the Godzilla franchise. I really enjoyed the what was it called? Godzilla. Was it just called Godzilla? The first of this like monster franchise. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed Kong Skull Island. I haven't seen the second Godzilla yet, but I am looking forward to seeing that. I'm really looking forward to seeing Godzilla vs Kong, but I'm placing it at the bottom only because it's just not a franchise I'm huge on, and I haven't watched a couple of the others. So that comes in at number 4. Coming in at number 3, we have got No Time to Die. Now, this one's a strange one for me. I'm not a huge fan of the James Bond franchise. I have watched all of them, and I like them to like varying degrees. Some of them I really love. Some of them I think are good. Some of them I think are fairly average, and some of them are just flat out just don't like at all. Spectre, did not like at all. Now, I would place this in 3rd place because I do like James Bond movies. I didn't like Spectre, but there's still something there that's going to draw me to it because it's James Bond. So I am slightly looking forward to it. Okay, and coming in at number 2 is Soul. Now, I'm going to only say this because this is something I'm like dying to see. I can't wait to see Soul. And I think it's a tough one between this and Black Widow, but simply saying Soul because I feel like I've been waiting for Black Widow longer. So obviously coming in at number 1 is Black Widow, only because we should have had this movie like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and now I'm just itching to see it, and I need my Marvel fix for the year. So there we go. That's my ranking of my most anticipated November films for the year. Thank you, Pixar fan 2007. Bonnie the Bunny asks, Dave, do you like the cartoon I Am Weasel? Yes, this is something I haven't thought about for a long time, actually. I used to watch I Am Weasel. Vaguely remember it being in a block on Cartoon Network with Cow and Chicken and Courage the Cowardly Dog. Was that Cartoon Network? That was Cartoon Network, I think. I vaguely remember it being in like this block with those and like what was his name? Johnny Bravo. I watched all those shows. I really, really loved all of those shows. I Am Weasel is one I haven't thought of in a long time. I really loved it. Train Man Intimidator. Train Man Intimidator 305. Who's your favorite cartoon character? This is always a tough one because, well, it's not really a tough one, but I always go for like the easiest one, which is Mickey Mouse. I just love the guy. And of course, Bugs Bunny as well. I owe a lot to this guy. Actually, talking about Bugs Bunny, my Bugs Bunny evolution just crossed over 1 million views a couple of days ago, which is amazing. So thank you all so much for watching and supporting that video and rewatching it, whatever. Amazing. So I owe a lot to this guy because without this guy, Cartoon Evolution would not be where it is right now because that video really set the path for this whole series. So I owe a lot to Bugs Bunny. James on Film asks, how are you going with the DreamWorks catch-up now that you have all the Blu-rays? Have not started it just yet, James. Only because I'm just working my way through all these other movies at the moment, and that's just a part of the collection that I haven't got to just yet. I'm just trying to smash through all these I got so many like back catalog movies like 70s, 80s, 90s, early 2000s that I'm trying to smash through. I've probably got a couple of hundred there. Actually, I think it's just about 200 movies there. I'm watching one in the morning. I get up early. I watch a movie before I get into work. So I'm trying to smash through these first, and then I'm going to get into stuff like the animated ones. And like I've got a bunch of classic films like 20s through 40s, 50s movies that I got to watch as well. But when I get to them, you'll know I'll be posting it on Letterboxd, and I'll do some kind of DreamWorks ranking. I don't know. Next time there's a DreamWorks movie out, I might watch them all and then do a ranking of the DreamWorks films. Thanks for asking. Hunter Hyros asks, do one of the cartoon evolution of Popeye the Sailor Man version. I assume you're asking me to do a cartoon evolution of Popeye the Sailor Man. I have done one. I did one last year, probably, I don't know, 6 months ago, probably. That's actually one of my favorite ones that I've done. But if you're a Popeye fan, head to my channel and go to there's a cartoon evolution playlist, and there'll be the Popeye one in there. Absolutely love Popeye. Popeye is a lot of fun. So there definitely is a cartoon evolution on Popeye, and there is a voice evolution for him as well in the voice evolution playlist. Jin Harik Attack asks, hello, did you watch the 2 new short films from Looney Tunes? I watched, I've seen Dynamite Dance, I watched the roller coaster one, and I believe there was another one that they just launched, which was like the pavement one. I haven't watched that one just yet. I completely forgot about it, but I do have to get into it. Josh Mursky asks, hey man, what's your fave old school Mickey Mouse cartoon? Again, I really hate to disappoint, because I have such boring answers for these things, and it has to be Steamboat Willie, because I just think it's just a fantastic little short. The gag work in that is really great, and it's where it all started. I mean, without that, we wouldn't have Mickey Mouse. Well, I guess we had Plain Crazy was made before Steamboat Willie, but Steamboat Willie is like, it's that iconic Mickey Mouse short. But other than that, Lonesome Ghost is a fantastic Mickey Mouse short, and that comes up there for me. It's Mickey, Donald, Goofy. It's like fantastic gag work. It's one of the most incredible Disney shorts ever. And on the other hand is also one called Mickey and the Seal, which is absolutely bloody fantastic. I love that short so much. Jack Robbins asks, well, first he says, I'm finally here. Welcome, Jack. Thanks for joining me. He asks, what is your most anticipated movie you want to see 2020? Mine was Black Widow and Wonder Woman 1984. I don't know. There's so many movies coming out. I'm dying to see Black Widow, like dying to see it. I need my Marvel fix. Soul, again, which was mentioned just before, Raya and the Last Dragon, I'm looking forward to seeing. That one has been pushed. Actually, is that next year now? And Mulan, of course. I was supposed to see Mulan. I had tickets. I had tickets to the preview screening, and it got cancelled, obviously, because they didn't release the movie. So that's one that I'm really gutted that I haven't seen, because I was like days away from seeing it. But yeah, for me, I think they're like the top for me. But Wonder Woman 1984, I'm really looking forward to as well. Ryan Brooks, this is a good one. He asks, hey Dave, what happened to the JB Hi-Fi sale? A few people have been asking me this. The Aussie Blu-ray collectors, Blu-ray DVD collectors out there, we have the annual buy one get one free sale at JB Hi-Fi this time every year. Traditionally, it's either this current weekend or next weekend. Obviously, it didn't happen this week. It's possible it could happen in this coming week, but as far as I'm aware, I haven't heard anything official on it. I understand from what I've heard that store staff have not been informed of a sale, and don't know whether there's one coming up. They haven't been informed. Again, I haven't heard anything official, and by now probably would have. But I would say wait, maybe this week. But my inkling is, and I've been saying this for probably a month or two now, is that the current climate right now, I would not be surprised if it didn't happen this year, or if it was like maybe postponed to the end of the year. I just don't know. I just have a gut feeling that it might not be happening. Again, this is only based on my own speculation, my own sort of understanding of the trends that have been like the last few years. I would just honestly not be don't be too surprised if it doesn't happen. Again, this is nothing official. It's just coming from my head. But that's my, I guess, somewhat educated opinion on that. Mason the Storyteller asks, favorite Scooby-Doo episode from any show? I don't really remember episodes in particular. I love the new Scooby-Doo movies, and I love the team up short. The one, there were 2 or 3 that they did with Batman and Robin that I think are a whole lot of fun. Other than that, it's just, I think all of them kind of blend into one for me. But I love the one with just those, the classic monsters, like the monster, the lake monster, with the big, what do you call it? The big, fish bowl helmet thing. I think that's a lot of fun. I love all those classic Scooby-Doo things. I haven't really watched much of the later stuff. I would really love to watch Mr. Incorporated in full. I've only really seen a few episodes here, and Guess Who looks fantastic as well. Again, I've only seen a few episodes here and there, but it is something that I would really love to get into. Nando Torres asks, is Frozen 2 out on DVD yet? Yes! It's been out for months. I think Frozen 2 came out in America at the beginning of the year. It's just come out here maybe a month or 2 ago. But I mean, this probably depends on where you are in the world. But in most places, yeah, it's been out for a little while. James on Film, that hoodie really reminds me of the old Warner Brothers studio store at Crown. I wish it would come back. It was an amazing store. I love the Warner Brothers store. We had this Warner Brothers store here in Australia. There were sort of around, there were a few of them. There was one at my local shopping centre, which was amazing. I spent so much time there as a 6-year-old running around in there. They had a big Marvin the Martian spaceship you could go into and watch cartoons. And they had amazing merchandise. And they had a huge one at Crown Casino in Melbourne. Amazing one. That was only there. That was there until not that long ago. I think maybe even 10 years ago that one closed down. The one at my shopping centre, amongst all the other ones at the shopping, there were a few of them around at various shopping centres. They closed years ago. I'm talking 15, maybe even 20 years ago. But the one at Crown Casino stuck around for ages. And by the end, I think the one at Crown Casino shrunk and shrunk and shrunk. And all you could really buy was some t-shirts, some plush toys. You could buy some cells, some art prints. And then they just closed completely. But that was amazing. If you think of the Disney store, it was the Warner Brothers equivalent of the Disney store. It was absolutely fantastic. I loved it. Ryan Spear asks, hi Dave, how are you? I'm doing very well. Thank you very much, Ryan. How are you doing? How's everyone doing down there? I appreciate it when someone asks me how I'm doing. Doing very well. Thank you very much. Joltimus22. Hey, Dave. Would you ever do a cartoon evolution for Wile E. Coyote? Yes, I would. Yes, I would. I would do one for Wile E. Coyote. And in fact, I actually did announce this as one. I did a post in late last year where I announced a bunch of characters that I was going to get to this year, and Wile E. Coyote is certainly on the list, and he'll be coming very, very soon. I promise you, Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner will be coming very, very soon. And at that, I actually will be announcing, as I said, the next evolution launches in 2 weeks' time, which is crazy because we've just had 2 full weeks of Betty Boop and Scooby-Doo. Next evolution launches in 2 weeks' time. This week, I'll be announcing what that one is. So stay tuned. You might be very surprised. Or very happy, I should say. Thank you for your question, Joltimus22. David Owens. Hello, Dave. Hello, Dave. How you doing? Princess Moana. Can you please find out if Disney will make a Moana 2? Let me get on the phone with Bob. Where's my phone? There it is. My hotline to Bob. Just give me a sec. Bob's not answering. But I promise you, when I get on the phone to Bob next, I'll ask him if he'll do a Moana 2. I'm joking. I don't have any hotline to Bob. Or do I? I don't really. But maybe, I don't know, tweet them, tweet Disney, ask them to make a Moana 2. I'd love to see a Moana 2. I think everyone would love to see a Moana 2. I personally have no information on whether they're going to do Moana 2, and none of us really will until they make some sort of announcement, whether it be a press release or an announcement at one of their conventions or something. But there's no Moana 2 on the cards just yet. I believe they're focusing on smaller, more we call them original films, because that's what people really want at the moment. But yeah, I do hope we get Moana 2, but I don't know if they're planning one or not. But I really would like them to be doing one. I'm going to keep scrolling now. Lots of questions coming in. I love it. Thank you so much. Once again, if you do want your question 100% read and answered, send in a super chat. It's always much appreciated, and I will definitely answer anything that comes in down there. Again, within reason. Oh, and at that, we have had a super chat come through. This has come from the Goku Man. This is a very, very, very generous super chat. And actually, I should have said I had a super chat come through at the same time as that as well, which has come from IMAX Studios. It says it came through at 11:20, which was like 17 minutes ago, but it's only just popped up there. But IMAX Studios, thank you for the super chat. It's literally just like a emoji of a popcorn. Thank you for your super chat. I appreciate it. The Goku Man, once again, it's sent a very, very generous super chat. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. He's asked, do you feel that being in Australia has been a general minus to your job as being a pop culture commentator? For example, long days before getting things and the draconian video game censorship. Thank you for your question. Very good one. Very in-depth question here. I feel like it has its upsides and it has its downsides. I feel like on one hand, well, sometimes I feel like maybe my stuff's not getting pushed out there as much by YouTube because of where I'm uploading from, but I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's how the algorithm works. I don't think they would have any kind of favoritism to any country, but I just don't know if there's any kind of weird like things built in that because of like the countries that are most active at the time, whether there's like more people active in America at one time, they push American. I don't know how that really works. I think that's probably not something, but that's always something that is in the back of my mind. That wouldn't be a prejudice thing or anything like that. I'm not saying that YouTube are, prejudice against Australians or anything. I just wonder if there's something in the algorithm that, kind of, whatever. But I feel like a lot of like the big news and stuff that drops will happen at like 12 a.m. or something like that. So it is hard for me to cover stuff like straight away. So that in that respect, it is a little bit tough to jump on things right away. Trailers usually drop probably like midday. So if I want to like react on a trailer or something, do a trailer. So like midday my time would be evening in America, which is usually when the trailers drop. So that puts me in a pretty good position to be able to react or do like a breakdown or something. And I usually get decent hits on that kind of content. So that's a pro. But then the con is like the big news, which is usually dropped like first thing in the morning in America. I miss out on covering for like maybe 8, 10, maybe 12 hours. Stuff like Blu-ray announcements will drop overnight, and then I get up in the morning and like try and get one out as quickly as possible. But long delays before getting things, as in, as I was saying before, Scooby-Doo, Scoob, we're not getting it for a while. That is a very big minus because I can't cover that movie. And that would be, I know I would get like decent hits. I'd be able to get out a bunch of content for Scoob. And it's a little dagger to the heart because I would really love to do a lot of videos on Scoob, whether it's like a breakdown video of like Easter eggs and stuff. And then stuff like, I would have done a review and all this stuff. And I probably will do this stuff eventually, but it's just not going to be in that initial like wave of content of people doing content for Scoob. And I like to get in there like, the earliest you get in there, the better your content does. Traditionally, when you're a smaller channel like mine, some of the bigger channels, like we're talking channels like 1 million views, could just do a video on it whenever, and they're guaranteed to get big hits. I kind of still find that I'm in that space where I need to get stuff out like immediately, or else it doesn't do as well as it probably could have done. So there's pros, there's cons. I spent a lot of time over in the UK. I was living in the UK for almost 2 years, and I was finding that even over there were pros and cons. Like, I would get the news like in the afternoon, the big news would drop in the afternoon, I'd be able to cover it really quickly, but then trailers, I'd be waiting up until 2 or 3 a.m. to do any kind of coverage. So I think really depending where you are in the world, there's always going to be pros and cons. There's always going to be something dropping in the morning and something dropping in the evening. It just comes down to me being able to just cover it the best I can and just knuckling down and getting that content out as quickly as possible. But yeah, when we do get movies late, it is a little dagger to the heart. Most movies actually launch earlier in Australia these days, and the added bonus is I've been very, very lucky to get on quite a few media lists, so most of the major studios, and do get to see the movies quite a little bit earlier. Sometimes it's the night before, sometimes it's a couple of nights before, sometimes a week or two before it opens in cinemas, which is really great, and I can jump on the content straight away. But otherwise, yeah, pros and cons, I think wherever you are. Aficionados Chris, thank you for joining me again. You all know, Aficionados Chris, one of the greatest guys out there. Love this guy. Thank you for sending in another super chat. Very much appreciated. He says, looking forward to seeing you reach 100,000 subs. I'm looking forward to seeing myself reach 100,000 subs. I'm almost on 60,000, which is amazing. I think I was tracking to reach 100,000 by the end of this year, but a few things have slowed down. There's been a lot of slowing down over this. It's kind of strange because I would have thought with this whole pandemic and everything, there would have been a lot more people kind of jumping online, watching YouTube and stuff. But I've actually seen a fairly sizable dent in some of my statistics, whether that's watch time, monetization, speed of growth. I'm growing pretty well right now on the back of the Betty Boop evolution and all these Scooby-Doo ones. I've gone up a couple of hundred every day, which is amazing. But other than that, there has been a bit of a slowdown, and I think I'll probably hit 100,000 early next year if we keep going at the rate we're going. But I'm looking forward to it too, and I'm glad you're looking forward to it as well. Thank you so much. Ryan's Treasures has sent in there's a couple of super chats here. I'm working my way through them. I really appreciate you sending them in. Ryan's Treasures sends in a very generous super chat. Have you seen every theatrical Walt-era Disney film at least once? And have you ever seen 10 Who Dared? Leonard Maltin's least favourite one. I have not seen every single theatrical Walt Disney era film. A lot of them are really, really difficult to get your hands on. Some of them are out of print. Some of them never came out on DVD here. There's a lot of stuff that I haven't been able to get my hands on. I've seen a vast majority of the stuff that he released in terms of movies. A lot of the TV stuff I haven't really seen. I've seen stuff like Davy Crockett and the Zorro shows and all that kind of stuff. But there's a big chunk of stuff I haven't seen. And 10 Who Dared I actually haven't seen either. Which I kind of looking forward to seeing that one, especially because it is Maltin's least favourite one, which I think is that'll be quite interesting to have a look at that one. So we've got another super chat here, which has come in from Callie Ashford, and I am it is a very generous super chat again. Thank you very much. And it's just playing up on my screen at the moment, the little super chat window. So I'm going over to this window where it's showing up for me over here. We are slowly coming out of lockdown. Yes, we are. Oh, it's feeling good that we are slowly coming out of this lockdown, but what does need to be stressed is that we do need to keep taking it easy. Just because the lockdowns are easing, just because little parts of the world are reopening, it doesn't mean the virus is not still out there. You know, it doesn't mean that the virus is suddenly dead and we can just celebrate and stuff. But it is nice to have that little bit of freedom back as long as we are still staying safe. We're keeping distance. We're not doing things we shouldn't be doing. Like going out and Blu-ray hunting, for example. I certainly won't be doing that for a long time. Going to cinemas or whatever. I think it does feel a little freeing that things are opening up a little bit more. We're allowed to see friends, we're allowed to see family. I saw some family this weekend socially distance around the house, and it was nice to see just a couple of people. I, again, don't want to overdo it, but yeah, it is a little bit freeing to feel that little bits and pieces are opening up. Again, it depends where you are, because I know things are still looking really dire in lots of places in the world. So anyway, let's get back to the happy stuff. But thank you so much for your super chat right there. Really appreciate it. Legendary Humans asked, Dave, did you hear that Disney would buy Batman? I did not hear that, and I struggle to believe that is something that's that will ever happen. Warner Brothers has a very, very tight grasp on Batman, and I don't think they will ever let go. And I don't think Disney would be allowed to buy Batman simply because they would then quite literally have a monopoly on the superhero film landscape. They would not be, like, legally, there would be a legal proceeding that would say that they could not buy Batman, and I never see that ever happening. That said, next week we'll see Disney has bought Batman, but no, that's not going to happen. Max Mogarev. Oh, just as I was getting to his question, the chat moved up. Max Mogarev asks, what about the voice actors from Scooby-Doo Monsters Unleashed game or the child actors from Scoob? I tend to not cover video games in my videos. I focus pretty much solely on cartoons and films, media, like visual media. I very, very rarely touch on any kind of video games. I did actually have, I guess, a what we call like a little disclaimer at the beginning of the videos. I did cut them out for time. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there for a second. I did have a disclaimer at the beginning where I did say, due to the vast amounts of media that has resulted from this franchise, I won't be covering video games, won't be covering this. I probably should have left it in the video, but yeah, I usually don't touch on that stuff, especially when you've got like 5 or 6 other like voice actors doing video games and then doing all these other things. It becomes very hard. So I just kind of try to streamline it. As for the child actors from Scoob, the only things that I had to work with were the trailers and a couple of clips, and the only child voice actor that was in the trailer, his voice was, there were 2. You had Fred, but that was like 2 words, and you had young Shaggy, who had like a couple of lines, but I felt like I actually did incorporate them initially. I did graphics up and everything for them. I had them in that cut, but I thought I didn't want to include a couple and then not be able to include the others. I just felt it was maybe a little bit unfair, so I just made that decision to kind of cut that out. And just, you know, and like you would have the Fred one is like, hi, my name's Fred. This is Daphne. This is Velma. That would have been like 4 seconds of this one actor, and it would have been very whatever. But yeah, so that's why I didn't include that stuff. The Last Jedi says, Dave, I'm autistic. I was diagnosed when I was 6 years old. Do you know anyone who's autistic? Also, not every autistic person is the same, but I'm very sure you know that. I actually went to school with a guy who was autistic, and he was a very, very, very smart boy. Very, very smart boy. And as you said, not everyone is the same. I think that's the same about every person on the planet. Not one person is the same. And I think that's what makes us all really, really special. Every single person in the world is special in their own little way. So it's not just, you know, autistic people are different from other autistic. I think everybody is a little bit different from everybody else. And I think that's fantastic, and we should embrace that. But yes, I went to school with a guy who was autistic. He was a really, really lovely guy and a very, very, very smart guy. He ended up doing statistics in the AFL. He would like come up with these, you would throw like a maths equation at him and he would be able to just rattle off straight. Like it would be the most complicated thing and he would rattle it off right like that. He was an amazing, amazing guy. Really, really nice guy too. I studied with him for a very, very long time. I played sports with him and whatever. I was on a basketball team with him, and fantastic guy. So yes. Thank you for sharing that. I love that when people can feel they can share these things with with myself and the community. I think it's amazing. We have got another super chat here from Blake. Blake, thank you so much for a very, very generous super chat right here. Blake says, hey Dave, just popping in quick before the stream ends. Hope you're going well. You've been doing some amazing work of late. I now pose a question. And the question has, I'm trying to get it up here on the super chat. If we could get old mate Rick to send that question through. Here we go. We've got, the question is, what cheeky info can you give about your upcoming podcast? Keep up the great work, mate. Oh, I'm so excited because I have announced recently that I am going to do a podcast. I've had a lot of people asking me recently, or even over the last few years, can you do a podcast? And I feel like I'm at the point now where I'm ready to jump into it, and I really want to. I really want to fast track this thing, but not so fast that it's going to be like too fast and not good quality. I want to take my time with it, but I am working my way through some ideas at the moment, and essentially the format that I think that it's going to take is I'm hoping I'm probably going to have a guest on every episode, whether that be another content creator to just sit and just talk about stuff, whether that be old mate Rick, whether that be my personal friends, whether that be my girlfriend come on the show and chat some stuff with me, whether it be a guest a voice artist or someone in the media industry or something like that. I'd love to just kind of have all these things. It will take a very relaxed kind of thing. We'll take a look at the news from the week in film and animation and whatever, and just chat general stuff as well. And I think, yeah, that's a little bit of cheeky info right there, but I'm still trying to figure out like a way to, what's the word I'm looking for, to structure it. I'm trying to think of, I would love to be able to have like segments, like recurring segments every episode. And like if anyone does have any suggestions for my podcast, send me suggestions on like my Facebook or the Twitter or the Instagram or whatever. Just reach out. I'd love to hear what everyone's thinking. But thanks so much once again, Blake, for that amazing super chat. Again, very appreciated, very generous. Thank you so much for all the support. And thanks for sending in the quick question there. Terry James has also sent in a super chat. Would you do voice evolutions for Olive and Bluto? It is something I've thought about, but it's not something I did at the time. I probably will at some point, but I can't say when. It is definitely something that I probably will do at some point, but I'm not too sure when. It's not on my list of things to do. I left these Scooby-Doo ones off now, obviously to coincide with Scoob, but Olive and Bluto, I just kind of have to find the right time to be able to do them. Thank you very much for that super chat. We have a super chat here from Jerome McCalla, and again, my chat here has cropped it off, so if we could get old mate Rick to please send that one through, it's when he can, that would be amazing. But I will get to that in just a second. I promise you. I'm using what is the old chat system. This is like classic YouTube chat system, and it's archaic. There is a new one that is like beta testing at the moment, and I haven't been game enough to jump straight into that one just yet. I know the stream's behind a little bit, so we're just waiting for old mate Rick to send Jerome McCullough's super chat through to me, and I will answer that. But before that, I will answer one here from Matthew Jenkins. Hi Dave, you have always made me happy. Do you have a few tips how to make my collection bigger? You really inspire me. You're the only YouTuber I have subscribed to. Thanks, Dave. Thank you, Matt. That is awesome to hear. Thank you so much. I'm glad to hear that I make you happy. I'm here to make everybody happy. I've always said from the very beginning that like my main aim here is to make people happy, to make people smile. If I've made one person a day smile, I've made one person a day happy with any of the content that I do, my job is done. So that is amazing. I've done my job for today. Thank you so much, Matthew. Tips on how to make your collection bigger really is do what I do, and that is wait for sales. I would rather spend $5 a title and get 4 discs for $20 than spend $20 and buy a fairly new release when it first comes out. You know, what usually happens in Australia at least is that movies come out, they're like $20, $30, $40 depending on the format that you're getting them on. And then really like a month or two later, they come down in price, and it might be like they've gone down from $30 to $15, or you might get them in a multi-buy and you might pick it up for $10 or $8 or something like that. So the thing is, just keep your eyes open for sales. Always buy discs on sale. That way you're maximizing how many titles you get for that amount of money. So like I said, I would rather get 4 discs for the same amount of money that I could maybe get one disc. And that's a really great way, not only to save a little bit of money, but to really grow your collection and grow it really quickly. Because if you're just waiting for these sales and you haul up on sales and you spend maybe like, $50, $100, whatever on sales, you get like 10 titles or 20 titles when you might have only got 5 for that same amount of money previously. So just keep your eye on sales, pick things up when you can, but if there's something that you really, really want and you want to get into your collection straight away, go for it. I do that fairly occasionally. I do that, and they're just my tips. Just keep your eye on the market, and I keep a list on my phone of the titles that I want to pick up. And usually, if I go into JB, if they have a sale or something, or if I'm just in there, I'll have a look at the titles that I've got on there, and I'll go in through. I'll see, have they put the price down on this one yet? No, not yet. They put the price on this one down. I can buy that one down. So it's just essentially just keep your eye on the market, keep your eye on the prices, and maximize how much you can get for that amount of money. We have got Jerome's super chat has just come through. Thank you so much to old mate Rick for sending that through, and thanks so much once again for Jerome for sending in a super chat. Jerome says, views on the released HBO Max Looney Tunes so far. I think they look incredible. I am dying to see this series. I am dying, and I don't know, it's killing me. This is like what the Goku man was saying before, was that we have to wait for things here in Australia sometimes. I don't know when we're actually going to get the full series of the new Looney Tunes cartoons, and I'm dying to see it right now. Dying to see it. But I think they look fantastic, what I've seen. It's got that really classic style of not only animation, but humor as well. And I think they've just got it down to a T, and it looks amazing, and I'm so excited. And Eric Bowser is doing a lot of the voices, and I think he's fantastic. And I'm just dying to see it. They're my views on it so far, and I really hope I can see it like fairly soon, because I'd love to make a lot of content around it. Blankness asks, if you were ever to do Pluto's voice evolution, I think it would be kind of simple, unless you're doing vocal effects like barking and such. I did Pluto's voice evolution for April Fool's Day actually this year, but you can head over to the Disney Evolution playlist, the Disney Voice Evolution playlist, and it is in there. I did it not that long ago, the beginning of last month. So yeah, go ahead and check that one out. There was a question that I just saw, and it's gone back up the chat. Oh, here it is. Rex B Song, what do you think about the Duel of the Fates script? Oh my gosh! Okay, so for those who don't know, the Duel of the Fates script is this leaked script, which is like almost 90% confirmed to be true, or I don't know if I missed whether it is like 100% confirmed that it's the legit thing. This was like the original script for Star Wars Episode 9. I believe this was the Colin Trevorrow script, and it leaked with a whole bunch of concept art and stuff. I think it would have been amazing. I think this would have been the film that I really wanted to see. And it's like devastating. I haven't read the full script. I've read like excerpts. I watched Mr. Sunday Movies, did a really amazing like animated video on it. I'm just gutted thinking about it. I wasn't a huge fan of The Rise of Skywalker. I wasn't not really a fan of it at all. I just think it just really let me down. And I felt it was underwhelming. It was an underwhelming way to finish the series. And I think the Duel of the Fate script, there's a lot of really great stuff in there that I think just would have been like my ideal ending to this saga. I'm still hurting, man. But you know what? It is what it is. It exists. It's there. I'll rewatch it over and over for the rest of my life, I'm sure. But I just feel it was a little bit underwhelming for me. Nawaf Disney fan 1923 says, will he do evolution of Dopey Dwarf? I haven't really considered like breaking down characters from movies and stuff in the evolution series so far. It's not really something that I'm all that I think would really work in the format. Usually it only works with characters who have existed for a long time and who have appeared in a vast array of media. So like these Looney Tunes characters who have been around for, 70 years, who have been in hundreds and hundreds of shorts and TV shows and movies and all this stuff. I don't think it really works for someone who's been in one movie and then maybe a couple of little cameo appearances here and there. I am trying to work a way around doing evolutions for smaller characters, but whether I start breaking down characters from movies that have really not appeared in anything, I'm not too sure. But I don't think it would work in this current format anyway. And the next question was, Demonic Host asked, what requirements should characters meet to have a cartoon evolution? And that's essentially it. It has to be a character that has existed for a long time and has appeared in a lot of media and has actually had an evolution, whether that is a physical evolution in the character's design or an evolution of the narrative styles of the creative side of the shorts, the way different artists handle different characters, different cartoons. I think there just has to be some kind of real definitive evolution of this character changing and molding over time. So Mickey Mouse, the way his design changed over 90 years. Or, on the other hand, the Scooby-Doo series, where there have been like 6, 7, 8 different iterations of the Scooby-Doo series, where the characters look different, the narrative style is different, the narrative tone is different. There just has to be some sort of like evidence of artistic molding over time, essentially. Neo Exalt, voice evolution of Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. Not really something I had thought of. A lot of people asked me about it, but it's not something that I actually have on my current to-do list. But maybe one day. It is actually, I've got like a list of things here of like what I call ideas for content supplements, which is essentially a bunch of stuff that I can go to if I have no content for that week. And an Oswald voice evolution, I can tell you, was actually up there, along with Horace and Clarabelle, who I get asked about a lot as well. So they're up there. It is something that I will get to eventually, probably, but it's not something that I have any like immediate plans for, if that makes any sense. Time Toast asks, hey Dave, glad to be watching your channel for a while. He's been watching my channel for a while. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I have a question. So, how did you start your channel in the first place? I love this question. It's not one that I get that often, but I have had it in the past, and I always love answering this. My channel has had fits and starts over the last... Well, this channel in its current form has existed for 3 years, 4 years-ish. I've always been into making films and doing media things and whatever, and I've always made content that I've liked throwing out there. I wrote, produced, hosted a television series for local community TV here in Australia back in 2011, 2012. Soon after, kind of around that same time, sort of after that, I started a small YouTube channel where I was doing movie reviews and stuff. It never really picked up any traction. I never really took it seriously. And I was uploading content maybe once every 3 months. And essentially, I only really did that because when I was doing the television series for local television, I wound up on a lot of media lists. I kind of got myself onto these media lists for local distributors, film distributors, where I could go and see the films early to cover for the show. And once I'd left the show, I found myself dropping. Once we stopped making the show, I found that these studios do an audit like every couple of years to make sure people are still coming to see their movies, are still reviewing them, are still have an outlet to review them. And I started to find that because I didn't have an outlet to put my stuff out there, put these reviews out there, I started dropping off a lot of the lists. And there was a couple of lists that I was still on, and I thought, well, I need to keep making, I want to keep seeing these movies early, and I do want to keep doing movie reviews, so I need to start taking this a bit more seriously. And I started up that first channel basically as a way for me to say I do have an outlet for these reviews. Again, I probably was at that for 1 or 2 or 3 years maybe. I was doing it very sporadically, wasn't taking it very seriously, and that got to a point where I really, really wanted to give YouTube a crack. Nothing else has really taken off for me. I wrote a few scripts and stuff, and I could never really get them picked up, or I never found myself in a position to be able to make these scripts that I was making. And I felt, you know what, I'm going to take this YouTube thing a little bit more seriously, and I'm actually going to open up a channel, a secondary channel. Forget that first one, let's start afresh. And the thought behind that was, I initially, if you don't know, I initially started as Disney Dave Down Under. This channel was originally like a Disney fan channel, and the idea behind that was because all these movies that I was reviewing for this other channel, I was finding that the Disney reviews were the ones that were getting the big views. Well, at that time, big views, I mean like maybe 1,000 views. But that was vastly outweighing anything else that was getting like maybe 50 or 60 views. So I thought, all right, we'll start a Disney channel, and that will essentially guarantee that I'm going to get some pretty decent views and maybe help build something around that. And I thought, I've got a lot of Disney stuff at home, Disney books, Disney DVDs, Blu-rays, Disney collectibles and stuff. I can just start reviewing a lot of Disney stuff. And I did that, and at first it was fairly sporadic. It was like one every couple of weeks, or, you know, I'd do a couple a week, and then I'd disappear for a month, and then I really only started taking it seriously maybe a year into the channel, and that was after I discovered a YouTuber called Neistat, who I'm sure we all know who he is like one of the premier YouTube vloggers, amazing stuff. I love his stuff, and his vlogs really inspired me to just start taking everything a bit more seriously. And it was him who, through his vlogs, taught me you need to have a schedule, you need to be showing up to work every single day, you need to be pumping out as much content as possible, pump out content every single day if possible. And there was a good while there where I was actually uploading a video every single day. And that's when I just started taking it a bit more seriously, just started to think more about how I was going to be doing things, and just putting a lot more effort into it. And over the course of the last couple of years, it's really grown into this community that I've got now. It's 60,000 subscribers, and it's amazing. So that's how it started. I've just always been interested in this stuff. I love talking about movies. I love talking about animation, cinema, whatever. And I love sharing that love with all you guys out there. And I love this like community feedback that I get as well. So yeah, that's kind of the where my channel has spawned from. Look, guys, I did say I was only going to be on here for about an hour. We're over an hour now. It's 12:10. I will be on here for another 20 minutes. I think I'll push it to about 12:30 a.m. my time, and then I do got to go to bed, otherwise I will sleep in and I will not get as much work done on my evolution video that I want done tomorrow. But before that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a drink. I'm going to get a glass of water. Usually I'm prepared. Actually, usually I'm not prepared and don't have a glass of water, which is what's happened tonight. Last time I had a glass of water and I was prepared. I'm going to get a glass of water because I just need to refresh the throat a little bit. I'm going to come back. I'm going to answer a lot more of your questions. Until then, just keep chatting amongst yourself. Whatever. I'll come back. I'll answer as many questions. If anyone definitely 100% wants a guaranteed question seen and answered, please send in a super chat. That's like the only way I can guarantee that your question will be seen and answered. Send in a super chat. And if some come through while I'm gone getting my glass of water, only be like a minute or so. If some come through in that time, I will answer them as soon as I get back. So I'll see you in a moment, guys. Just give me a second. Turn the microphone on. That's a good start. I'm back. I got my glass of water here. Feeling very refreshed. My Coca-Cola glass. Okay, guys. Now I've just seen there have been some super chats that came through. I was answering the last question. So quite a few super chats in here actually. So we will answer these first. Jerome McCalla has sent in a super chat. Actually, Jerome sent in 2 super chats. Thank you very much, Jerome. I'm just going to make sure that my microphone is up loud enough. Yes, good. Jerome McCalla, thank you so much for sending a couple of super chats. Views on the released HBO Max Looney Tunes so far. We did read that one. Considered voice videos for game characters, pardon me, including Sonic. Not really. Well, sort of. I have considered it. But it's not something that I'm focusing on right now. I really want to focus on cartoon characters, especially like classic cartoon characters and stuff. Once I exhaust all the cartoon characters, there's a possibility I might make exceptions for a few video game characters. I understand Sonic was in cartoons, Mario was in cartoons, but for this series, I'm like focusing on characters that started in cartoons. Not necessarily characters that started in video games. But Sonic is one and Mario is one that I would definitely consider doing evolutions for at some point, maybe. But that could be a couple of years away. Thank you once again for your super chats. Harry Palmtree has sent in a super chat. Harry Palmtree is one of my earliest subscribers. It's great to see that you're still sticking around. Thank you so much for being here, Harry Palmtree. Hi, Dave. I love your content. Thank you so much. I love that you love my content all these years later. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. We've got another one coming from Callie Ashford as well, which is just trying to get this one up here because, as I said, the little chat box is being a little bit funny here. I have this one come through on this window which says, I think that this is her super chat, but I'm not 100% sure. I'll get old mate Rick to double check on that one for me. But it says right here, I love the remake of The Lion King. I have the CD, DVD, posters on my wall, and a singing, cuddly Simba toy. I love that you love the remake of The Lion King, because I love the remake of The Lion King myself. I think it just caught a really, really bad rap. I think it was a really good film. I liked it. I liked the fact that it was daring enough to be the same as the other film. I think The Lion King is one of these movies where if you remove any of the elements that made it so inherently it becomes something completely different. And I think The Lion King was just a really fantastic experiment in visual, CGI, visual effects and stuff. I think the movie's fantastic. I think it's got nothing on the original. Don't get me wrong. It's one of my favorite films of all time. But I love the film. I love it. James on Film says, Hungry Jack's Coke glass. Love it. Yeah. Is this a Hungry Jack's one? I think it is. Yeah. I have Hungry Jack's ones. I've got McDonald's ones. I've got ones I bought from Coles. We have so many. I have so many Coca-Cola glasses at home that it's not funny. Like, a cupboard is filled with Coca-Cola glasses. I'm being told that the super chat from Callie Ashford was, Tech Helper won't listen. Don't know what that means. I'm assuming you're saying that old mate Rick won't listen or something. I'm not sure. But regardless, thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate it right there. We're going to dive into the comments again right here. I have been told that there are a lot of people spamming the chats as well, and I would really appreciate it if you please didn't spam the chat. It's very annoying for the other people in the chat if you are spamming, and if you continue spamming, I won't answer your questions. So that is one way not to get your question answered, to spam. And we just don't appreciate spamming. And I'd just like to ask you, please don't spam. Please don't spam. Lewis Thompson asks, what is your favorite British YouTuber? And I don't know. I'm trying to think off the top of my head if I really watch any YouTubers who are British. I watched this guy. His name is Jules Guides, and he does these really amazing London vlogs. As I said before, I spent like 2 years over in the UK, almost 2 years over in the UK, and I love the UK so much. I adore it. I adore the country so much. And I spent 2 years exploring the UK, going to all different places across England and Scotland, and I love it. I love it, and I do feel like when I come home, I'm missing. I am missing being in the UK. I'm missing my walks through London, or I'm missing my walks through Cambridge, which is where I was stationed for the entire time that I was there in Cambridge. But I would make occasional trips into London and everything else. So there's this guy called Jules Guides who makes these really fantastic little walking tours around London, showing off all the sights and stuff. And for me, it's just like a little way to get that little dose of London that I feel like I'm so desperately missing. I love the city of London. I absolutely love it. And yeah, his name's Jules Guides, and he does some really fantastic stuff. It's not a film channel or anything like that. He just does some really, really good really good little tours around London. It's, as I said, it's just that little slice of London that I feel like I need occasionally. Tech Helper. Oh, I understand what's being said now. Tech Helper won't listen. Callie Ashford is saying Tech Helper won't listen. I don't know who Tech Helper is, but apparently, I see this. It's someone who has spammed and spammed and... Whoa, geez, there's a lot of spam there from Tech Helper. Tech Helper, please, no... Have they continued to spam? They have spammed and spammed and spammed. They've stopped spamming now, which is good. Because if... Tech Helper, I'm telling you, if you're still watching, if you continue to spam, I will ban you from the chat. I will ban you from the chat. So, yeah, again, I'm just reading someone said, block Tech Helper now, Dave. Put him on a 300-second timeout before he blows everything up. I'm going to give Tech Helper the benefit of the doubt. He has been told off. He's been told don't do it, and I'm hoping that he will not do it anymore, or she will not do it anymore. And if they do continue to do it, they will be blocked or put on a thing or whatever. Yeah. Princess Moana says, British YouTuber, I cannot think of one too. I don't know too many. I can't think of too many off the top of my head. Who was some British YouTuber? I'm sure there are lots of. I know there are lots of them. Far away. Who are your favorite British YouTubers out there? Ginger Bob says, hope you're doing well and stuff, Dave. I'm doing very well, thanks, Ginger Bob. I hope you're doing well, Ginger Bob. Last Jedi asked Dave, would you like to take a look at my Star Wars fan film that's begun a trilogy? I'm always happy to look at people's content. Send me a link to it, however you like, over on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook, Messenger on my Facebook, Dave Lee Down Under page, whatever. Send it over to me. I'm always happy to look at people's content. Neo Exalt asks, why is Minnie bigger than Figaro? Perhaps because... Well, actually, I was going to say because Minnie is a person and Figaro is a cat. But no, Minnie is a mouse and Figaro is a cat. I've never actually thought about that before. I've never thought about that. That's so silly. I don't know. Just one of those cartoon things, I guess. One of those cartoon things. Blake and James on Film are chatting amongst each other, which is always great to see. Really great guys, those two. What else have we got coming through here? I've got a lot of stuff coming over on this screen. Norwaf Disney Fan 1923. He says, or she says, you inspired me. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. From the bottom of my heart, I really love to hear that I inspire people, or I make people smile, or it's not something that I think about on a daily basis. I'm just doing a job here to just trying to make people happy and whatever. And if people are getting something else from that, that's a really amazing benefit for me. And when I think about it, when people tell me these things, I think it's incredible. So thank you so much. Jack Robbins, do you like rewatching classic movies? What happened? movies changed over time, I guess, as everything does. Everything evolves. Times change. Movies are made differently. Movies are written differently. Movies are acted differently. I love classic cinema. It really is my favorite. My favorite period of cinema is like 1920s through to the early to mid 1950s. Films from that era are just so amazing. Some of my favorite films: Wizard of Oz, Casablanca. Any of Alfred Hitchcock's films, Frank Capra stuff like Mr. Deeds Goes to Town, or It's a Wonderful Life, or even stuff like It Happened One Night. I just love classic cinema, and what happened, I don't know. I think it's just the difference between the times change, and there's a lot of great movies these days, and there's a lot of great movies then. There's a lot of duds now, a lot of duds then as well. It's just tastes change, things are made differently, and I guess that's what happened. Time happened. What are your? This is from SWFC 2018. What are your thoughts on Baz Luhrmann directing the Elvis biopic and the casting for the biopic? I'm a huge Baz Luhrmann fan. I'm a huge Elvis fan. I love Elvis. And I love Baz Luhrmann. Romeo and Juliet and Great Gatsby are two of my favorite films of all time. And I think it's going to be really interesting. I can't get my head around how he's going to do this. I can't. But I'm really, really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be really, really good. As for the casting, I don't really know much about the guy. Off the top of my head, I can't even think of anything that he's been in or if I've seen him in anything. But he looks the part, and if he can act the part, and I don't know how they're going to do the music. I don't know whether it's going to be like real, like play the actual music or have new music recorded for it. I don't know. But you just can't predict what Baz is going to do, and I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be really out of left field. It's like really out of left field. But Tom Hanks is playing the Colonel Tom Parker. I think that's going to be awesome. That is very inspired casting. Elizabeth Animations asks, what's your favorite kind of decade for cartoons? Mine's 1940s. Yeah, I love 1940s animation as well. I would say 1930s, 1940s. 1930s, late 1920s, early 1930s is when you get these really rebellious, these groundbreaking cartoonists coming in and just doing whatever the hell they want, making crazy characters like Daffy Duck and Bugs Bunny. And then characters like Mickey Mouse and Goofy and Donald, and just these people. I think it's so fascinating to just watch those early cartoons and see these animators and cartoonists just going hell for leather and really doing whatever the hell they wanted to do and making these really wacky, crazy cartoons. I think that's fantastic. But then as you get into the 1940s, you can get into the 1950s, and you get people like Chuck Jones playing around with like really satirical stuff, really like surrealist stuff as well. And I just love that whole kind of like, that I can't even explain it. It's like they just, like those Chuck Jones films that you think of from the 40s and the early 50s are just so different from anything else. They're so stylish, they're so smooth. And I think every era has something to offer. And then you go into the late 50s and the 60s and you get great stuff like Hanna-Barbera and like the Flintstones and Scooby-Doo and all that. I think each era offers something a little bit different. But probably top favorite will be that period, like that very early, late 1920s, early 1930s going into the 1940s for sure. Neo Exalt says, which came first, voice evolution or cartoon evolution or explaining Disney? Explaining Disney, actually, what some people probably won't know is that Explaining Disney was actually a series that I started. It was just really all these random Disney videos where it was just me explaining Disney things. It was like me explaining, one of them was like the Easter eggs from Mary Poppins Returns. There was another one where I explained Touchstone and Hollywood Pictures. There was another one where I explained something else. And then for Mickey's 90th anniversary, I decided to do an explaining Mickey's evolution. And that video went wild. That got like 100,000 views in a week, and I'd never seen such, well, I had, but very, very rarely seen a reception like that for a video, especially something that I actually put a lot of work into. The other videos that I'd had big hits on, like hundreds of thousands or even 1 million hits, were things that I worked on for maybe a couple of hours or you know, at most maybe 6 hours and then put up. But something that I'd actually spent like a good week or two working on and put up to get that kind of reaction was really amazing. And then what I thought after that was people seem to really like this, and they've sent in a lot of people started sending in requests for Goofy, for Donald, for other characters. I thought, you know what? Let's do one for Goofy. No, was it Donald or Goofy my second one? I think Donald was my second one. I thought, all right, let's do one for Donald and just test the waters, see how it goes. Because so many times in the past I've done a video, previously to this I had done a video, 100,000 hits, 300,000 hits. It was like a big video, and then you do a follow-up and you get like 5,000 hits. So I thought I'm going to test the waters. Did a Donald Duck evolution. That went gangbusters as well. It was like 100,000 views in a week as well. That's pretty good. Let's do a Goofy one, see how that goes. Did the Goofy one, and the Goofy one did the same thing. It was even more. And these videos were getting more and more views and more interest. And I thought, well, you know what? Explaining Disney has now become a series where I'm going to be doing these evolution videos. So then I pumped out a bunch of Disney evolution videos, and it was after I'd made maybe 5 or 6 of them that my girlfriend actually suggested to me, you know, if you're struggling for other content, why don't you do a voice evolution? People like the evolution of the character themselves, but the voice evolution is something that people are probably interested in as well, and something that I never really touched on in the videos before. For one reason or another, of the earliest cartoon evolutions I did were very short videos. The Mickey Mouse one's only 10 minutes. The Donald Duck one's maybe 15. The Goof one's maybe 15. They kind of have grown longer over time. But the voice artists were never really anything I touched on, because it was always about how the character has grown physically over time. The series has become something so different now. But yeah, my girlfriend suggested, why don't you do a voice evolution series? Because it's something other people will probably be interested in as well. And so I won't take the credit for that series, which you guys are really loving at the moment. That was all props to my girlfriend who suggested give that a try. So the first one I did, I went back and I actually did one for... I can't remember if I went back first, or I can't remember the character that it was, but I did a character and then I produced a voice evolution for that character, and it did fairly well. Of course, they don't perform as well as the main evolution, but they do fairly well. And then the next few that I did, I made voice evolutions for as well. And then I took 2 or 3 weeks where I literally just went back through all the characters that I'd previously done and did voice evolutions for them. After I'd exhausted all the main Disney characters, a lot of people had been asking, will you do Warner Brothers characters? Will you do MGM characters? Will you do Hanna-Barbera characters? And I, at that point, had never really done content based on any animation other than Disney. I just kind of never knew if there was like a following for that. There would be a viewership for that. And I thought, you know, we'll take a risk. We'll do a Bugs Bunny. I thought it's obviously not going to be explaining Disney. I considered maybe explaining cartoons or explaining evolutions. But I settled on cartoon evolution because I like the sound of it. And I thought, we're starting this new series. We're going to do Bugs Bunny. Bugs Bunny does really well. We're going to produce more of these. If Bugs Bunny didn't do well, I probably wouldn't have been doing any more. Bugs Bunny exploded. Exploded like I have never seen anything explode before. Amazing. Hundreds and hundreds of thousands of hits. My subscribers spiked. My revenue spiked enormously, like 4 or 5 times that month. My subscribers went up like 5,000 or 6,000 subscribers in a month. It was crazy times. And Bugs Bunny, again, I owe a lot to this guy because he really jettisoned me on this incredible journey that I've been on over the last year of making these videos. If it wasn't for that Bugs Bunny video, or then I guess if it wasn't for those preceding Disney videos as well, we wouldn't be at the stage we are at right now. I think it's amazing. My channel has grown exponentially since these cartoon evolutions, and I cannot express how thankful I am to all of you for watching the cartoon evolution videos. Because it really has skyrocketed. My channel grew 400% last year. That's both in subscribers, in viewership, in revenue, in everything. My channel grew 400% last year, essentially on the back of the evolution videos, whether that be Disney evolution, whether that be cartoon evolution. I owe a lot to these things, and I owe so much more to everyone out there who's been watching them, supporting them, commenting on them, suggesting them, whatever. I really appreciate every single moment of it, and thank you so much. I mean, to be in the position that I am right now, it is a dream in the making. I'm not quite at the end goal just yet, but we're slowly getting there. Blankness says, sorry for spamming if I did. That's okay. I appreciate the apology. I'm not sure if you were. My chat's constantly moving, but I do appreciate the apology right there. As I said, I was only going to be on until 12:30. I'm going to push it for like another 10 or 15 minutes. But that's it. I will have to cut it out there. It's been really good. I've enjoyed this. But it is getting very late, and I do need to get my beauty sleep, or else my work won't get done in the morning. We've got Super Chat has come in, I believe. Another Super Chat from Jerome McCullough. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. He asked, Space Jam 2 CG or 2D animated? I don't know. I haven't personally heard anything. I would love to see it 2D animated. I just really want like that classic 2D animation, Space Jam, classic 2D cartoon characters. I don't think it will work as well in 3D animation, but who knows what the higher-ups at these studios are thinking. Higher-ups at studios never quite get animation. They never have. Even if you go back to the 1930s, the 1940s, you hear interviews with Chuck Jones going, that guy that was running the studio at that time had no idea about cartoons. Only knew how to run movies, knew nothing about cartoons. And these are business guys. I mean, business guys are going to think dollars and cents and what is going to get the most amount of money from the audience. And unfortunately, these days, CG animation does sell a lot better at the cinema. Not that there has been a lot of 2D animation, but you know, that said, I think 2D animation would sell very well at cinemas now. There's a lot of nostalgia for it. People love it. But studio heads are in this kind of way of thinking that it's like, oh, 3D animation sells. So I really think it's probably going to be 3D animated, simply because I think the higher-ups at the studios are going to be pushing for that. But then again, there's something inside of me that just really hopes that whoever is making this movie really, really push for that 2D traditional animation. I really hope that's the way that's the way it pans out. I'm so excited for Space Jam 2. Space Jam is one of my favorite movies ever. Jack Robbins asks, what got you into collecting Blu-ray box sets? I have just always been someone who has collected stuff. I love memorabilia. I love books. As you can see behind me, I've got like a whole collection of like hundreds of books. These are mostly books on film and animation and whatever. And I think my love for collecting physical media is essentially an offshoot of my love for collecting stuff, for collecting memorabilia. I see, especially like box sets and stuff, I see box sets as like a really cool piece of memorabilia for a movie that I really love. And that's really what got me into buying them. And I've always loved box sets because, especially the big ones that come with like all memorabilia inside it and like extra discs and special features and stuff, I just love it. It's just so me. It gets me. Elizabrine Animations. The Disney Evolution videos have helped me so much in trivia. You'd surprised knowing that Pete was Disney's oldest recurring character. I know. There's some crazy stuff out there, and I love being able to get all these little tidbits of information, these little factoids and stuff out there. And I love that people aren't only enjoying these because they're fun, they're entertaining, but people are actually learning stuff from them. And I think that's the whole crux of what I want to do. And that's tell stories that people can be entertained from or learn something from as well. And I think finding a line between something that's educational and something that's entertaining is something that I'm really like striving to do. And I hope that I've hit that crux, that kind of heart right in the middle where it's like I've got what I'm trying to say. I've got it down where it can be a bit of both at once. push it to be too entertaining, too entertaining. People aren't going to learn anything from it. You push it to be too educational, people might get bored. So I really have to find that kind of balance. That's the word I'm looking for, that balance. I hope I've struck that balance in there. So thanks so much, Eliza Breen Animations, for saying that. Roy Barzili Entertainment. Do you like musicals? If so, what's your favourite musical? I've got a love-hate relationship with musicals. I love classic Hollywood musicals. The Wizard of Oz is my favourite film of all time, so I'd probably have to say that's my favourite musical. But I love, like, Gene Kelly, like Singing in the Rain, American in Paris, stuff like that. I love like the Frank Sinatra musicals, the Dean Martin musicals, the I had in my head, what was I going to say? The Fred Astaire, Ginger Rogers musicals. I love all of them, and I feel like that's probably because I like the music, and it's like, big band swing music. I love the choreography in the Gene Kelly movies. I think it's absolutely fantastic. They're so much fun to watch, and just like, I love the human body and the way the human body can move and the way different people can, like, do different crazy, bizarre things with their body, and the way Gene Kelly is able to move so gracefully. It just astounds me, and I love his films. I love watching his films, his choreography, everything, and the music as well in those movies are fantastic. When you start pushing it to, like, more modern musicals, I'm not a huge fan. I'm not a big fan of the Broadway musical, so I'm not a huge fan of the musical where it's, like, singing the whole way through. I can appreciate, like, the production value, something like Les Mis. I haven't watched it, but I think I would love it because of the choreography and the cinematography and everything, the production value, but I don't think I'd be too flash hot on the music itself. When you start pushing that real, like, stereotypical Broadway sound, I'm not a huge fan of that. It's even some of the Disney movies, I'm not a huge fan of the music that comes from them, unless the earlier films or something like The Lion King, which has like a real fun, like, poppy kind of vibe to it. So yeah, I have this love-hate relationship with musicals. It kind of depends on the kind. Mark Korenhoff says, "G'day, Dave, fellow Melburnian." G'day, Mark. Thank you for joining me at this very late time here in Melbourne, 12:37 a.m. I appreciate you joining me along. Dale Murphy asks, when does Scoob come out on Blu-ray? Don't know. I would say probably about 3 months' time, maybe. I don't know how it's going to work because it's gone straight to streaming, but I would say usually that release window is about 3 months. Like I said, guys, I'm going to be jumping off this chat probably. I'm going to give it to 1:45. So what's that? That's about, that's not much longer. It's about 7 minutes more. Again, guys, if you really, really have a question that you really, really want me to see and answer, Super Chat is the best way to do that. I will see it. I will answer it. Otherwise, I will be down in the comments answering questions from the comments. But again, I'm only going to be on here for about 7 more minutes. And if you do really have something that you want me to answer, Super Chat is the best way to get that seen and answered from me. So thank you so much for sending in so many questions. I appreciate it. And I really, really, really wish I could get to all of them like I used to be able to. But yeah, there's just so many people, so many questions now. I'm getting a lot of people spamming as well. And I have warned to put the user in the timeout, which I've just done. Thank you very much. Again, spamming is just not fun. It's just not fun. TF Reviews BR. Never got the chance to thank you for the amount of respect that you showed on your Zé Carioca video. That almost made me cry. Thanks so much for that, and greetings from Brazil. Thank you so much. Oh, I had so much fun doing the Zé Carioca video, and to hear that from a native Brazilian is amazing to hear, because I wanted to show so much respect to that character and to the incredible Brazilian Portuguese culture. I love that character, and I think that the creation of that character, which spawned from a nationality, such a wonderful, beautiful nationality and a wonderful, beautiful people, and just the story of that character is so amazing. That character was created to bring people together and to make people happy and make people learn respect for other people and other cultures and other races and ethnicities and everything. The character has such a heart of gold, and I think out of all the Disney characters, I think out of all of them, Zay Carioca has the purest story behind him. And I wanted to put all that just love and appreciation that I have for that character and I have for the Brazilian, the Portuguese culture. I wanted to just throw all of that into this video. And I'm so happy that that did come through in that video. And I have had quite a few people say that they love the respect that I showed to the character, to the culture, everything. That was like my number one priority was to show a lot of respect for the character and his culture. So thank you so much. I really appreciate comments like that coming through. James on Film, did you buy the Infinity Saga box set? No, vastly overpriced. What was that, like $500, $600, $700, something crazy? They only release it here on Blu-ray. If I were to buy it, I would have wanted to buy the 4K one and not the Blu-ray one. It looks like the spammer who I put in timeout has come back on a separate account, so they're going to go out in timeout as well. So don't be silly. Don't be silly. I mean, it just ruins it for everyone if you're spamming. It's so stupid. And like, I would answer your question, but because you spammed it so many times, I'm not going to answer it. What else do we got? Red Grizzly says, have you seen the Porky Swears video? Yes, I have. It's very, very, very funny. He says the B word. Oirich Entertainment says, any tips on starting a YouTube channel? My tip is always just do. Just do. There's no time like the present. Just do. If you've got a camera, if you've got a phone that you can film stuff on, just start doing stuff. Just start making content and put it out there. No time like the present. Don't think about it. Just do it. If you have an idea, just do it and put it out there. Just do it and put it out there. These things, look back on any YouTuber's channel, look back on my channel, early videos are terrible. Early videos are always terrible. And making YouTube videos, the more you make, the more you learn, the more you build. You build your channel, you build your content, the way you make stuff. Just start, because the longer you take, the longer you wait to create content, the longer you're hindering yourself in learning things. You know, you want to start learning straight away so you can make the great content as quickly as possible. Just do it, as Jordan Lang says. Just do it. Do it. That's what I'm saying. Just do it. Shia LaBeouf mode. Like I said, only a couple of minutes left. If you want a question answered, 100% seen, answered by me. Super chat, I always appreciate them. I don't expect them, but I do appreciate them. If you have something you want me to answer, super chat's the best way to do that in these final minutes of the thing. Otherwise, I will be continuing to just read the questions from the chat here. Chris Chavez says, have you had some unpopular opinions? I'm sure I've probably had a lot of unpopular opinions, but opinions are opinions, and no two people are ever really going to share 100% the same opinions. Everyone has unpopular opinions, I think. Sodden Grider, another long-time subscriber, thank you for joining me. Which is better, CGI or hand-drawn animation? I love traditional animation. There's such a gorgeous art. There's just such this beautiful handmade art to it. The amount of people that it takes to draw and to create the storyboards, to create the drawings on paper, and then the person who inks it onto the cell, and then the person who paints the cell, and then the person who films the cell. I think there's just this gorgeous handmade feel to traditional animation. But then again, that's not to take away from the incredible work that people are doing with CG animation. It's just a different art form, and there is these people who are making CG animated films, 3D animated films, are putting just as much blood and sweat into making their films as those guys who are making traditional animation are. It's just a different art form. So I have appreciation and love, respect for both art forms, just in very, very different ways. Again, we're going to jump off in only a couple of minutes now, so I'm just going to be taking the last couple of questions here from the chat. Again, if you do want a super chat, drop it in there and I will answer it. Otherwise, I'm going to set this to 5 more questions. We're going to do 5 more questions and then I'm jumping off because I'm getting tired and I've got to do some work in the morning. I've got to get it done. I don't want to sleep in. Okay, so 5 more questions and we're going to go to see, I'm just scrolling through here. Just trying to pick some good questions. Pick some questions from people who haven't necessarily had their questions answered either in this chat or in previous chats. Okay, Neo Exiled asks, so you got any Oswald the Lucky Rabbit merch? I don't have a lot. I've got this guy right here. I've got the Oswald the Lucky Rabbit pop vinyl right there. I love this guy. I have got no, I don't. I thought I had a little statue of him, but I don't. I've got an Oswald t-shirt. I haven't worn it for a long time. Not too sure where it is, but I definitely have an Oswald t-shirt. I bought it at Disneyland. But you can't really get Oswald merchandise here in Australia. The only place I've really seen Oswald merch is at Disneyland, unfortunately, and I haven't been there enough, unfortunately, because I'm on the other side of the world. But yeah, that's my Oswald merch. That's really all I can show off right now. Actually, I have. There you go, Mary Poppins. I've got the Oswald book as well. The book on Oswald the Lucky Rabbit by Dave Bossert. Fantastic book as well. So there's a couple of little bits and pieces of Oswald merchandise right there. 99 Goosebumps is the fourth last question. It says, what is your favourite Disney art of book? Very hard for me to pick because there's so many amazing books out there. I will pull a couple down off the shelves, but I really do want to jump off this chat just in a couple of seconds. There is one called The Art of Walt Disney, amazing book. There is a series called the Disney Archives Collection. There were 4 volumes, 4 volumes, story, layout and background design and animation. They're incredible books. Just not much text, but a lot of really great concept art drawings and stuff like that. And then Didier Gez's the Hidden Art of Disney series. He's done 5 volumes. He's got a sixth and final volume coming out this year. I love them. I think they're incredible books. Otherwise, I'll show this one because I can reach it very easily. Here goes another little thing. Ink and Paint by Mindy Johnson is just incredible book. This has only come out a few years ago, but that's one of the greatest books published on Disney history and Disney art ever. Blankness has been asking this question a couple of times, and he did apologise for spamming. I don't think you were spamming, as far as I saw anyway, but Blankness asks, what is your favourite Peanuts TV special? Mine is a Charlie Brown Thanksgiving. Mine is a Charlie Brown Christmas. Was it called a Charlie Brown Christmas? Merry Christmas, Charlie Brown? Charlie Brown, I watch it every single year. It is called A Charlie Brown Christmas, yeah. And then there was a sequel as well, which was like Charlie Brown's Christmas Tree or something. I love both of them. I think they're both fantastic. So what are we up to? 2 more questions now. Last chance to get in a super chat there. Otherwise, I am, again, answering from the chat thing here. And again, I'm going to pick it from someone who hasn't had a question answered before, either here or probably even over the last couple of chats as well. I like to give as many people possible as possible. Lots of people asking about characters and stuff, Elmer Fudd, whatever. Yes, I'm not counting this as a question, but yes, I'm going to cover every single major cartoon character from the golden age of animation eventually. So it will happen. It will happen. Elmer Fudd, all those guys. It will happen. Yes, definitely. But that's not the question, because I answer that question all the time. Every day I get those questions. I appreciate it. I love that you guys are so passionate. Just scroll. I'm scrolling like way back up in the chat now. I'm way back up in the chat. Cooper She asks, hi Dave, how many DVDs do you own? I will tell you right now very, very quickly. I'll go on. I've got this app on my phone which shows me all of my movies. It's called CLZ Movies, if you can see it right there. It's like a... It's a list of all the movies that I own. As you can see at the top, we own 5,225 movies. And that breaks down across... That includes television as well. That breaks down across formats. If I can try and open this format, we've got 192 4Ks, 199 Blu-ray 3D, 3,884 Blu-rays and just over 1,350 DVDs. So quite a lot there. Quite a big collection we've got. Over 5,000. What else have we got? We're going to take one. We've got a super chat has come in at the very last moment, and I will make this my very, very last question. It's from Nick. He says, hope you're keeping well, mate. Have you had trouble with international packages recently? I've been expecting 3 steelbooks from Zavvi since February. March, was that 3 months? Jeez, crikey. That's a long time. I have had a lot of trouble with packages recently. A lot of trouble. It's not just you. As far as I'm aware, what I understand is that Ozpost usually relies on Qantas passenger planes, like commercial flights, to send their mail internationally and to have their mail brought back internationally. And that way they're able to keep like a schedule of when stuff goes out, when stuff comes in. But because all the Qantas planes aren't flying anymore, they're having to hire out charter planes, and they're a bit more unreliable. So the charter planes don't go as often, and they don't go on a schedule like the Qantas planes might do. So the charter planes will essentially fly whenever they've got a full load of stuff to go out, and then even then there might be even some kind of delay. So Ozpost has crazy delays at the moment, both ways. I've been waiting on things from Australia for up to a month at the moment, which is nuts. It should take a couple of days to a week at most. But I have been waiting on stuff from Australia for a month over the last few, like ever since this whole pandemic thing. I have been waiting on stuff from international stuff. It's been taking 1 to 2 months. I ordered some stuff from England, like at the very beginning of the pandemic, and from Italy as well. It was almost 2 months. So it's not uncommon right now. I actually know someone who works at one of the major post depots, and they're saying they are absolutely inundated with parcels at the moment, and they're just trying to get them out as fast as possible. And they have, they're doing their best. They've put on all these extra staff and stuff. So yes, there's huge delays. Don't worry too much about it. I would say maybe 3 months is pretty crazy. I would say maybe contact Zavvi and just say, like, there's been, I've been waiting for 3 months. Are you able to look at tracking or anything like that? I would just kind of contact them and maybe. But yeah, don't be too disheartened by that, because a lot of big delays at the moment, and that's why this pandemic thing has just put the whole world's postal system, in a state of flux. Look, guys, it's now 12:50 a.m. I've been on here a lot longer than I said, but these things always run a little bit longer. So thank you all so much for joining me. Thank you everybody who sent in a really amazing super chat. A lot of very generous ones have come in again tonight, and I really appreciate it every time. And thanks to everybody who's come in here, who's asked questions, who's just chatted away. No thanks to the spammers out there, because that's very, very annoying, not just for me, but obviously, as you can see, for everybody else who is in the chat as well. The Puppet Show, who was spamming, says, I'm sorry, that was a dare from my friends, and I love your channel. Can you please forgive me? I am always one who will give someone a second chance. I believe everyone does deserve a second chance, and I will give you the benefit of the doubt and believe you that your friends dared you to do that. Don't know if they did or not, but I always give someone a second chance. But if you do come back on here next time and spam me again, then I will not be very happy. But thank you for apologizing. I do appreciate that. And once again, thank you everybody out there for joining me, for chatting away, for submitting questions. Everybody, stay safe. As we were saying before, the world is kind of slowly reopening a little bit, but this doesn't mean that we should all just go out crazy partying, go to pubs and stuff. I think it's a little bit early for, I think really anywhere, but specifically certain countries that are big hotspots are starting to open up already. I think it's very, very early. So just take it easy, stay safe, stay at home as much as possible. If you can obviously work from home. You've heard all this before. Just stay safe. I want you guys to stay safe and stay healthy, and just exercise, washing hands and safe distancing and all that. And I am, as you know, I'm a big advocate for going out and hauling on Blu-rays and shopping and stuff. But right now, it's my duty to tell you guys to just not do that stuff, because going out and just spending a lot of time in stores and handling products and stuff is not what you want to be doing right now. I certainly haven't been doing it. I've been having withdrawals from JB Hi-Fi myself. I haven't been for like 2 months. It's crazy, but we just have to be very very careful, very cautious about what we're doing at the moment. So don't go out, don't go hauling. There's a lot of great deals online at the moment. Search them out, buy stuff online if you have to. I know it's not great for the retailers. Even if you buy something from JB Hi-Fi online to ship to home, or to go and pick up, and you go and pick it up when you're out for an essential outing or something like that. It doesn't necessarily need to be a web store like Amazon or something. Support the retail chains as much as you can. But yeah, stay safe. Stay at home as much as possible, whatever, all that stuff. Once again, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. I love it. Thank you for joining me. I'm going to go to sleep now because I've got to get up in the morning and work on the next Evolution video for you guys. I think you're going to really like it. I'm going to announce it this week, and I can't wait. I'll give you a hint. We're getting loony again. Because I know people love getting loony. So, once again, see you later. Take it easy. I'll catch you on the next one. I really appreciate it, guys. Take care.